Welcome to this presentation by Facilitators Research. This research is distributed exclusively for informational and educational purposes and does not constitute financial, legal, tax, or investment advice. For such services, you may reach out to speak to one of our officers.
Listing Application. Section 5.1. Application for listing. A person who intends to list, subject to these rules and regulations, shall apply to the MSM in a manner prescribed below. Section 5.2. An application for listing referred to in 5.1 above shall. Section 5.2.1. An application for listing referred to in 5.1 above shall be made in writing by the sponsor and signed by both the applicant company's secretary or executive director and the sponsor. Appendix 1. Section 5.2.2. An application for listing referred to in 5.1 above shall be accompanied by a prospectus produced by an applicant company disclosing the information as specified by Section 116 of the Companies Act of 2011 and additional information as may be required by MSM from time to time. Section 5.2.3. An application for listing referred to in 5.1 above shall be received by the MSM at least 20 working days before the expected date of admission in both electronic and hard copies, accompanied by the nominated sponsor's declaration. Appendix 2. Section 5.3. Upon receipt of a complete application. Section 5.3.1. Upon receipt of a complete application, MSM shall invoice the applicant and Section 5.3.2. Upon receipt of a complete application, the fees shall be paid prior to admission and in relation to the provisions of these rules. Section 5.4. Admission of an applicant. Section 5.3.3. Upon receipt of a complete application, an applicant shall be admitted to the MSM only when a trading notice is issued to that effect, and when the decision of the MSM has been communicated to the applicant company and announced to the public by way of a press release in at least one widely read weekly newspaper. Section 5.5. MSM may reject the listing application if. Section 5.5.1. MSM may reject the listing application if MSM believes the applicant is not suitable for listing, or Section 5.5.2. MSM may reject the listing application if the applicant does not meet the eligibility criteria set out in these rules. Section 5.5.3. MSM may reject the listing application if an applicant shall be afforded a hearing before the application is rejected. Section 5.6. Application documents to be submitted. Section 5.6.1. Application documents to be submitted. 1 of 2. An application submitted in terms of Rule 5.1 shall be accompanied by the following documents. A formal application for listing in the format set out in Appendix 1. B. A listing undertaking in the format set out in Appendix 3. C. A declaration in the appropriate format set out in Appendix 2. D. A copy of the listing particulars or prospectus relating to the issue, signed by every director or proposed director of the issuer. E. A copy of the specimen application form to subscribe or purchase securities for which listing is sought. F. A certified copy of articles of incorporation or equivalent, e.g. trust deed, to show that the issuer is accordingly incorporated or established. G. A certified copy of the resolutions of the issuer in the meeting of shareholders, if any, authorizing the issue of all securities for which listing is sought. Section 5.6.1. Application documents to be submitted. 2 of 2. H. A certified copy of the resolution of the Board of Directors or other governing body, authorizing the issue and allotment of such securities. 1. A letter from the sponsor confirming that it is satisfied that the statement in the listing particulars or prospectus as to the sufficiency of working capital has been made by the directors after due and careful inquiry, and that persons or institutions providing finance have stated in writing that such facilities exist. J. A letter from the sponsor confirming that it is satisfied that the forecast or estimate has been made after due and careful inquiry by the directors of the issuer. K. A copy of any statement of adjustments relating to the accountant's report. L. An up-to-date copy of the issuer's register of shareholders. Such other documentation as may be required by the MSM. Section 5.6.2. Application documents to be submitted. All application documents or any documents sent to shareholders or potential shareholders must be in English. Copies prepared in Sesotho will be requested if there is need for such. Section 5.7. Block listing. Section 5.7.1. Block listing. Application for listing of shares in terms of executive and staff share schemes may be allowed either for block listings or for specific allotments. Section 5.7.2. Block listing. Where a listed issuer issues securities in terms of approved employee share scheme, or following the exercise of conversion rights attaching to a class of convertible securities and subject to MSM concurrence, the issuer may make a single application for the total number of securities which may be issued in a particular case, a block listing. Subsequent issues of securities in terms of the scheme will be subtracted from the initial block until such block is exhausted, at which time an application for a further block will become necessary. Section 5.7.3. Block listing. The following items must be lodged with MSM during the application of the initial block listing. A formal listing application signed by the authorized officer of the issuer. B. A document in printed form giving details of the number and type of securities to be admitted and the circumstances of their issue. C. Payment of the appropriate initial application fee, calculated in accordance with the scale of fees set out in Section 12. And D. A copy of the resolution of the board of the issuer authorizing the allotment of the securities which are the subject of the application. Section 5.7.4. Block listing. The issuer must send a report to the MSM with details of the number of securities covered by the block listing, which have been allotted in every 3 months.